Welcome to Management 280, Organizational Behavior Online. My name is Dr. George Mochocki. Well, we're starting in week 2. So let me just go a little bit at the beginning. We'll talk a little bit what's required for the week, and then I'll use the concept maps and show you what you're going to need going forward. This week we're going to be covering 3 chapters, Chapter 3, 4, and 5. All of this will tie in together with diversity, global positioning and management, and individual diversity, for lack of better words. Okay, so we're going to click on week 2. By this time, you should have already done. Remember, the first week was more of an intro week, so you covered chapters 1 and 2. You did a quick bio. And some of you have been waiting a little bit too long to get into your forums. Remember, this is a graded forum going forward, and we'll talk about it. So you're going to go into week 2. Remember, week 1 I'll leave open till the beginning of the week. So those of you who sign up late will have the ability to catch up in the Connect homework. As we discussed earlier, I updated the new online orientation, and I updated last week. So previously, you may have quizzes. There was a question about the quizzes. Some of the quizzes are going to be part of the McGraw-Hill quizzes, or they may be separate from the Blackboard. I haven't decided yet, but you would always have 2 tries to do it. So it's all going to work within McGraw-Hill Connect, okay? So let's go. So you have this week, you look at this video, always click on the quick overview. It tells you what you're going to have to do. You're going to reread the 2, you're watching this video. It tells you if you really look at this, let me see, I think I can make the screen a little bit bigger. Control plus, okay, a little bit bigger. So if you look at what you have there, you've got YouTube, you've got the reading of the chapter. This week you're going to your forum is going to take 2 parts to it. So we'll go back into the forum. Oh, I could go right now in the forum. Your forum has 2 parts in it. What you're going to be doing, you're going to do your research topic. In your research topic, here's what I'm looking for. I want you to, any chapter within the book is fair game. You're going to select a topic, and this is what you're going to be researching, and we'll be discussing during the class. So you're going to select a research topic, and let's say it's going to be on motivation, or it's going to be on changing organizational culture, or it's going to be on a learning culture, or it's going to be how do I hire people within my culture, whatever the topic. So that's what you're going to be researching. And in the research paper, if you really look at it, so you're going to give me a brief description about the research topic, who you envision you're going to be implementing it. Remember, when you look at all classes, how you look at this course, organizational behavior, you're looking at the company's perspective. So your recommendations and your research topic is going to be something that's going to be looked at a higher level, not as a first-line supervisor, but as changing a corporation. It could be a corporation, it could be a small business, it could be your department, but some kind of change. So you're going to be telling me I'll be changing the culture of my department. I'll be changing the culture of my business. I'll be recommending that a store like a company like Walmart, and I'm working for Walmart, start integrating new technologies for baby boomers, so you understand how to help customers use their smartphones to scan in the pricing, how the customers could use other types of technology. You see what I mean? So this is from an organization. So you have to change the culture. So you're going to pick up a topic. You're going to put it in the subject area. Now the graded forms. When you click on the graded forms, okay, so you're going to put in the subject area and you're going to answer these questions. Now there's another part of this that you're going to look at it. You're going to do an emotional intelligence. So I'm going to go back out of here. Let's go into week 2. So this is the overview. You have your 2 forms. Here's this emotional intelligence. Before you respond to the second part in this form, this graded weekly form, because you have more than enough to talk about. Remember, you don't have to put everything else in one post. You could do, okay, here's my research topic, and then post that and create another thread and say, here is what my emotional intelligence score, and do I think it's accurate or not? Okay, so but before that you have to click on this. I already have the link set up. If for some reason the link is not working, the automatic link, I'm going to click it on here. You just cut and paste this link, copy, cut and paste it, and put it into your browser. But as you know, I've got this all set up, so it makes it easy. You click on there, and here's what happens. It's going to open up. It's going to ask you 20 questions, and it's already all there. You begin the link, and you just go through the whole thing. See, there's 20 questions. Agree or disagree, or don't agree. It's not like a test. It's basically to find out what is your, what are your emotional intelligence. How would someone rate you if they would be doing an assessment on it? It's just something else. It's a good, and then we'll discuss that in the forum. Okay, so I'm not going to finish that, and then when you finish out, they'll give you a score, and you print it out, and you have it for discussion. Okay, your Connect homework. Remember, before I keep on going, you still have your Connect homework. You have the Chapter 2, 20 points. You have Chapter 4, 20 points. Chapter 5, 20 points, 60 points. Try not to do all your Connect at the same time, but you have to have it done. The Connect is going to be always open till Saturday, maybe Sunday midnight, and it turns off. Once it turns off, I've got to set up that if you're for some reason late, you're going to take a penalty. I think it's like about 5% for every day that it is past the due date for the Saturday or Sunday I have in there. So try to do them ahead of time. Read Chapter 3. Then do the Connect, and then go to Chapter 4, read that, do the Connect, and try not to do it all at the same time. In the meantime, also do the forum. And what you have to do, so when you go into the forum, you have to log in 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay, and each time you log in, you respond to 3 or 4 of the students. Your first post has to be by by Tuesday midnight. And then you can log in Monday and then Tuesday and Wednesday and have all your posts done. But it's kind of nice to do it during work. Look at it how you'll be managing if you'll be talking to customers in a virtual office. You can't wait all to one day because your boss wants something, your team members want something. So we're doing pretty good. Okay, so now I'm going to get out of the Connect and I'm going to go into this week's forum. If I look at this week's forum, I click on this week's forum, and remember the first part tells you what you have to do. The second part will do brief description. And remember, you don't have to put everything in the forum. When you click on this forum, look, I'm going to click on the forum. I'm going to do a thing. It's someplace in here. It doesn't have it in mind because I'm basically the instructor. But when you click on it, I've got a graded. I have a what do you call it? I'm not going to go on there. I'll go back here. What I have is a, let me show you what I have in here. I go in here, I go to the edit, but you could go in there and you'll see a rubrics attached to this forum. So if I'm going to go into my forum and I have a rubric attached to it, and so if you wanted to do, I have it set up, we could click on the rubric and you could see what the heck the rubric is about. So when I click on the rubrics, let's see if I'm going to go to click on the rubrics, select the rubrics, let's see, grading. Okay, I'm going to edit the rubric. What's going to happen? The rubric is opening up here. It tells you, I'll just move this over here, it tells you, oops, sorry, it tells you everything that you need. It tells you first post by Tuesday. If you do it by first post, you get 3 points. If your first post is by Wednesday, it's only 2 posts. If your first post is by Thursday, first post means you replied to me. You're losing points. You know how many times you contribute to the individual. I'm looking at your writing. I'm looking at your relevance of your things. I'm looking at everything else. So we're doing pretty good here. So if I'm looking at everything else, we're doing pretty good for the forums. Everything else, I'm going to cancel this. Okay, let's see what we have for this week's reading assignment. This week we have 3 chapters. And always go into, remember, I presented to you your students' PowerPoint. So you click in there and you'll have your Chapter 3. You click on there and you could have the PowerPoints. You got the learning objectives. You go in there and it goes into the links and you'll have the PowerPoints. What I want you to do is go into your weekly, let's see, what do I have is mind maps. Okay, Dr. George mind map. These are what I would want you to look at. We're going to do Chapter 3. Chapter 3 mind map. This is everything about the chapter. So we're going to talk about the global manager. Going forward, you have to have some international business. Small businesses grow to be, they have international clients, they're buy or they sell. So if you're looking at anything else for your, like most students here are going for the marketing degree or the management degree or their accounting degree, see if you could take some elective class. I teach an international business class, even 1 or 2 courses. That gives you the edge over someone else. So we're going to be talking about culture. When you're looking at international manager, he or she has to understand when I live in another culture, I have to abide by the rules of the culture. I also understand when people come into my culture from India, from China, from Japan, from Eastern Europe, from Russia, from Germany, they have to adjust to the culture, their not only the societal culture, but also to their organizational culture. And this is what we're looking at. And if you look at this ethnocentrism, When I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that we all believe that our culture is the best culture. So I'm not trying to change another person's culture. I'm trying to show them the best of my culture. I'm saying when you're working in this company, here's the rules and the values of this culture. Now, Hallstein, he basically was a consultant that worked for IBM, and since IBM was a global company, it was all over. He did a study, and this is in all books in international business and culture and understanding people and diversity, where he looked at different distances. Certain cultures look at, so when we look at a power distance, individualism and collectivism, we're basically more power oriented. We're more basically individualistic of a culture as a whole. Some companies may have these attributes, maybe a little bit different. So cultural intelligence, global projects, talked about this, talked about the different, closer look at cultures. You should understand foreign assignments. Look at it, if you're younger, a lot of companies, they're going to almost expect you to have a foreign assignment. A foreign assignment is good if you're younger or even older because you learn about the culture. But most foreign assignments, not like for a year. You're there for 3 or 4 years, 5 years, you call it expatriate, because you have to really understand the culture. You may never really understand the culture until you really live within the culture. Then you know all those little hidden things that you may not within the culture unless you're immersed in the culture, understand it. And then overcoming foreign assignments. And this one look at more if you're my ladies, because a lot of times you see women for some reason may not be offered the same opportunity for an assignment as men because they figure women may be more vulnerable, or if I'm sent in the Middle East, they may not deal with it. And that's a fallacy, because even cultures that are strictly very male-oriented, when it comes to the business operation, they will respect a woman just like they would a man within that circumstances. You may not be able to go afterwards and socialize as you would as freely as in the United States or some Eastern countries because of the religious requirements and society requirements of women in interaction with men. Okay, so I'm just going to say that. So understand that with the culture. Okay, so we're pretty good on that. So now I'm going to close this one. So that takes care of chapter 3. And see, now look, so when you're reading the chapter and you pull up the connect, also look at these concept maps. You can add on to it. Now this next one is diversity. If I'm looking at diversity and I'm looking at how's the person, when they come into my culture, what kind of diversity do I want? Most people will pick on, look, we have different kind of we behave differently depending where I behave differently. I'm Christian, Roman Catholic, so I behave differently in a church. If I be Muslim, if I be Jewish or something else, or Buddhist, I would behave differently within the religious culture than I might have been when I'm out with the guys or I'm out with the gals, celebrating my promotion or celebrating somebody else's promotion or celebrating a birthday and having a good time. You know what I mean? So yeah, versus then how I would behave within a company function. You know what I mean? So we, like it or not, we adapt to different cultures differently. But how do we adapt? We get signals from that culture, what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And if you look at social information processing, so here's the first one, selective attention, people, events. We look at different people and say, hey, I kind of fit in with that group. I don't. Look at in high school or different social events. You go in there, you look at people that you feel you have some similarities to, so you can open up a conversation. Okay, and then you have the next thing, and try to avoid the stereotyping. Stereotyping means I think that all people in the same group always react the same way. Okay, then you have casual attributes. There's something things that you look at. Kelly's model is cause and effect. You see certain triggers that will trigger something else or signs that we should pick up. Okay, stereotyping process, demographic trends, diversity, internal, internal dimensions, external dimension. Now, before I go on there, you see, you have this first stage. This is all, excuse me, in a concept map. I have a program that I run that I won't give you the first stage. I don't even have it here. Run 4. So everything that you're having here. Hang on a second. Where did it go? Yep. I've got 4. Do I have that? No, let me turn this off. 1 second, class. I apologize. Let me go on this one, and I click on number 4. Oh, here we go. I click on number 4. And if I look at this one, and this is the program. So what you have when you're looking at, I gave you on this one, I gave you all the stages. You see what I'm talking about? So you have all these stages. Now, On the other one here, when we talked about on diversity, I looked at the causal attributions. I didn't give you the Kelly model. What I want you to do is, since that's important, I was clicking on there and had the internal, it had the external. You see what I did? My model, basically, let me move it. I think I have that in here. It has more information. So what you would have to do, you'd write the Kelly model. What I would want to remember is 3 dimensions: consensus, distinctiveness, and consistency. These are things that tells me, once I start saying things over and over, I feel comfortable in that culture because I understand the culture by the things that are out there, okay? And, so stereotyping is more like a generalization, a demographic trends, a little bit of diversity, barriers to diversity, fears of reverse discrimination that might upset someone. Look, the biggest thing when you look at different cultures and diversity, I don't understand how an African American woman would think. I may have a general idea. I don't understand about discrimination. I may not understand how a communist country actually is to work in a communist or live underneath a communist environment. People there, some people love it, some don't. But you see, I just have my understanding. So I don't try to stereotype. I have a general idea. But when I meet people from other cultures, I say, hey, look, my understanding is limited to what I've heard from news media or what I read. Tell me what I should know. If I offend you, please let me know. And that's the culture that you have to have within your company. Your company or organization has to have that flexibility. Okay, so we're done with that one. I'll put the save on here. And now the next one we're going to do is individual. So if I look at this one here, and this one's individual. The biggest one is to understand different people. You have to understand yourself. That's why the emotional intelligence test. What do you know about myself? A lot of times you find out, oh, that's not really me. But it may be how I'm responding to external factors to the people who are seeing me. They basically says, George, that's you right there. Because we see ourselves in our own mind. When you go through this thing, we take me for consumer behavior, or in this class, we have a different perception of what we think people think. When I put on this tie and pull my hair and everything out, I'm a professor. When I'm walking out, going to the store, and I got my old raggedy jeans and my shirt's all ripped off, some people say, oh, geez, poor guy. He looks like he barely got a job. He's an elderly person. This looks like he's just making it in life. So do you see what I mean? So that could be part of the stereotype of what we see. So, but in my mind, I still may be dressed, but I may not present the right image to people because of the messages that I'm sending. Okay, so they're looking at the different. Now, if I look at intelligence, we all have these functions. The only thing that's going to happen, our right, left brain, how it works is some people who are have musical inclinations, they just tones just come to them. They hear music. Other people may not have it, but it doesn't mean I don't like music. It may not be one of my strengths, but I may be more artistic or more of a communicator. Okay, so you have to understand that self-esteem, self-efficiency, excuse me, is how I believe I could do the test. If I don't believe I could do the test, odds are I'm going to fail. Right? And self-monitoring. How do I monitor myself? And I ask other people, getting feedback and personality, locus of control. So when I look at locus of control, internal, external locus of control, I look at emotional ladders. I look at stability. You see, all this is information. I'm not presenting all this because as you read, this is my outline. You're adding to it. That's how you're learning. The more senses you use, the more you'll be able to remember a lot of this stuff. Cognitive dissonance, understand that. That's in marketing and everything else. It means after I've done a tab, I just bought the Galaxy 4, and I've been an iPhone user. So I've always wanted to do a right deal. First, it's a little lighter, skinnier, but it does a lot more. So I'm looking at it, but I hear other things. So positive reinforcement or negative reinforcement. Hopefully I hear more positive about the Galaxy over the iPhone, but I'm stuck with it for 2 years, whatever my contract. But you see, those things after a couple of months I have it, I won't even be thinking about it. So this is important in a company. I first got hired to the promotion, and I may have this cognitive, is this the right job? Can I do the task? And all that doubt I got to get rid of right away because I need you to be moving forward and to increase your, what do you call it, your learning curve. Okay, so we're done. Okay, so this is what we're having for this week. We're done. Week 2. If I look at this, I'm back on this week. Always everything starts with weekly assignments. You have your Connect. I'm going to open this up right now for those who want it, so you know now it's open when you're looking at this. We're live here, so it's available. I take this out, and now week 1 and week 2 is open, and later on I'll turn off week 2. So remember, everything you need in here. You got the clip, you've got the overview, you got the forums, you got 2 parts to it. Do 1 part about the, what do you call it, about your topic, and then later on do the 2nd part, and over the week, communicate, look at the rubrics, talk to 3 times. 3 times you got to log in, and 3 other people each time you log in, looking at about 9 or 12 posts, quality posts during the week, and you get to know everyone else, do your connects, everything else. You're doing fine. And again, welcome to organizational behavior. This is a different culture. You're learning. I'm adjusting you. I'm socializing you to being an online student in a very intense online class, which is similar to what you're going to see in the business part. So again, my name is Dr. George Mochocki, organizational behavior online, and I'll talk to you later.